Hi, previously we have done the virtual lab on equal potential line simulation, and so in this video we would like to see how that idea can be linked to other things like the field strength or how it can be connected to gravitational force as well. So right now I would like you to try question 8 in your booklet, and then we will also try question 17. So pause the video and try it yourself first.
A few moments later.
Alright, let's look at question 8 first. So part A asks you how you can deduce that these two masses, the orange one obviously, are unequal in mass. From my memory, I can recall some of my students who might naively believed, because you can see the size of these two, like this is smaller and this is bigger, and that will be the explanation. Very superficial. The question never said they are the same material or the same density. So what may happen is, since density equals to mass over volume, having bigger size may not be having bigger mass. It can be the other way around, because the density can be different, and therefore when you try to say something mass is different, you can't say because their volume are different, because they may have different mass and just barely enough to compensate for their difference in volume. So definitely you can't say about the volume to explain about their mass. So the correct way to say it, I would suggest, if you try to look at one of the equal potential line. Remember, these are the line where it gives you equal in potential. If you try to draw a straight line from the center of the planet towards it, then you will find, let's say if I call this A, if I call this B, then B will be further away compared to A. So our B will be bigger than our A in this case. So what does that actually imply? Let me give you 10 seconds to think about it. So the answer obviously can be explained by an equation that gives the potential, mass, and also the distance, which is this one. So let me just copy it here first. Right? Potential for G equals to negative Gm over R. And so obviously you can see that within this line, again, they are having the same potential. G, of course, is the same since it's a universal constant. And then now we have the radius of B longer than the radius of A, or more precisely the distance, of course. And so in other words, you should find the mass of B also be bigger than the mass of A in this case. So that's the mathematical relationship. So for example, if I have to draw here, then B is bigger, so an upward arrow, then mass of B should also be bigger, so that the other two can be a constant. Okay, part B asked me to draw the gravitational field lines due to the two masses. So that means the gravitational field strength line. So here I kind of messed up because I already draw here. So allow me to just erase it. Okay, and then when you try to draw the gravitational field strength, or even for electrical as well, one very important key concept that you need to know is that the field strength is going to be perpendicular to the electrical potential line. They are always perpendicular to each other. And so in this case, I think we will start from the easiest way. So here I will draw a straight line, and I guess you can kind of tell, of course I can't be drawing perfectly also, these are all 90 degrees. Okay, remember, you don't have to draw this right angle thing. I'm just trying to show you, so don't draw it in the exam. That will look silly and not sensible. And then I probably will have drawn this, and this, because these are just simply the easiest. And then here there should be 1 as well, and then here I should have something that kind of curve so that these can be maintained 90 degree. Okay, 90 degree. Otherwise that wouldn't make sense. Okay, so kind of curve out like this. Okay, and then I'll try to draw more, but before that you have to think about, for field line there is a direction because this is a vector, and so for gravitational field, which direction should they point to? Alright, the answer is pointing towards the mass, of course, right? For gravitational field, it's very straightforward. You just have to think about if you have a mass, these mass will experience the gravitational force due to, the big mass nearby, and the direction of that gravitational force is the direction of your gravitational field at that point. Okay, so I'm going to erase it not to overlap with what I drew. And so I guess I will add more. Again, you should always maintain the line to be 90 degree to the equipotential line. And since we know the right-hand side mass is more massive, then the gravitational field should also be more dense. So I guess I will draw more here. And that's something you will also have to think about. Part C is asking you why the equipotential surfaces are very spherical, very far away, when it's very far away from the two masses. So obviously, now you may see in this picture, they are separated for a certain distance. But if you try to zoom out, okay, I try to zoom out, I'm not sure if that makes sense. I have to change the view, sorry, to one page only. Yeah, like this. So the more you zoom out, then the more insignificant that the distance between the two masses would be. So when you look at this looks more like one single mass, where the center of mass is somewhat maybe around here, okay, roughly. And so you can now consider this as one big mass simply, and then you just have to think about, hey, if we have simply having one mass, then of course its equipotential lines will be like what we did earlier in the virtual lab. So that's why you have spherical equipotential line, just like when you have maybe one proton or one electron in a space. 17 is saying there are two charges, they are equal in magnitude, but then opposite in terms of the sign. So one is positive, one is negative. And as you can see, the equipotential lines here are symmetrical, right? Symmetrical along this line basically. And so just to recall, I just recall like previously that question, you can also explain why their mass are different by saying simply when you look at their equipotential line is not symmetrical left and right. So that could also be a reason, very simply. So back to here, we will have to define which one is positive, which one is negative. So I'll make it this way, because there's really no other ways that we can know which one is really positive or negative. So I think it's arbitrary here. But then it's important that we will have to define it. Otherwise, you can't really draw the field lines, because the field lines will have a direction from positive to negative. So the rest would simply be easy, like what we said. when you draw the field line, it has to be 90 degrees to the equipotential line. So I will obviously draw this one first. Okay, so from positive to negative. And then I will also draw this one. So from the positive charge, it will go outward. From negative charge, it will go inward. Yeah, something like this.